All right. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Bandzoogle Office Hours. So we took a little bit of a 2-week break. It's, vacation time around Bandzoogle. I took a little trip with the family. Back now, we're going to be doing these every Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So please definitely come and join us. Jump in for these lives every week. So what we do, if you haven't caught the first couple of ones, we listen to some music. Right now, I'm listening to the Teskey Brothers, an awesome Australian group that my wife discovered that we listen to around the house all the time now. Actually got to see them live a couple of weeks ago here in Montreal. Plus, is our amazing show. If you like sort of like Motowny jazz, kind of just like ambient kind of background music for around the house, definitely recommend them. So we talk about music, but we also talk about a specific topic related to the music industry and related to your life. I'm assuming if you're a Bandzoogle member, if you're following the channel, then likely you're an independent musician who's looking for tips and tricks on how to get more exposure for your music, how to better present your music digitally on all different platforms. So we choose a topic related to that. And this week it's going to be how to sell and promote your music. If you do miss the lives or you have to take off, don't worry, they're all on our YouTube channel, so you can go back and check out old ones. When you land on our YouTube channel in the profile, you can click on the lives tab, and from there you'll see all our past lives. So we have a different topic every week that you can go and check out. Feel free. I see there's a couple of people in here now. The nature of lives, people jump in and out, which is totally normal. It's the nature of the beast. But if you are here, let me know your name. Let me know where you're from. Let me know what kind of music you play, what kind of music you like, what kind of music you're listening to. It's become kind of like my go-to line now, but I'm always looking for music recommendations and new songs to add to my Spotify liked list. So, and there's nobody better to ask for music recommendations than other musicians. So please let me know what it is you're listening to these days. All right, I'm going to get this screen share started. So we got Doughboy God. I love that. And we got Tor. Nice. Thanks for popping in. Let me know where you guys are from. Let me know what kind of music you're into, what kind of music you play. If you are a Bandzoogle member. Also, if you are a Bandzoogle member, paste a link to your website so I can check it out. I love seeing what our members pull off and what they put together with their sites. And I'll take advantage of this time now while I'm setting up the screen share here. If you do have a site that you've built with Bandzoogle, I'll let you in on a secret. There's a little Bandzoogle secret that not everybody necessarily knows about. And what that is that you can request a free site review. That's all you need to do. Reach out to our support team. You can do that through live chat. You can do that through email and just say, hey, y'all, I'm looking for a free site review. Can you get back to me with one? They'll log the request for a free site review and they'll get back to you within a couple of days. And what a free site review is, it basically lets you know what we think of your site. We'll give you some feedback on the content you already have on there, and we'll give you some suggestions on things that you could possibly add moving forward. And again, totally free. So if you feel like you're done building your site and you want to know, hey, what could I have done better? And you could even give them specific instructions. You can say like, hey, can you take a look specifically at this? Or the goal of my site is that I wanted to accomplish this. Can you let me know how well I'm working towards that, how well I've built towards that? Do you have any suggestions moving forward? And they'll get back to you within a couple of days. Normally it's a day or two, depending on the support volumes. If we get some people out on the team, if somebody's sick or vacations, all that, we're a little shorthanded, or just it's busy season, whatever it might be, might take a couple of days, but we'll get back to you. Okay, I've just been chatting away here. Let me focus on getting my screen share started. Here we go. Okay, so how to sell and promote your latest single. I was going to say your music. That's one of the past topics we did, but this is going to be specifically talking about singles. And so you might be wondering, like, okay, how is that really, really different necessarily from promoting an album, right? The difference being that you can strategically plan the releases of your albums. So, strategically plan the releases of your singles. So if, let's say, of course, you have one big album release, then you can periodically release and promote singles after that. And in terms of a time frame, well, you don't want to wait too long. You don't want to let it sit and simmer. Maybe one every couple of weeks, space them out a little bit, and vice versa. If you don't have an album that's been released, if you don't have like a major record that you've put together, some kind of major release with a compilation of tracks, and it's been a little while since you've done that, you can always release a single to kind of keep your fans engaged and keep them active and keeping an eye on your socials and on your website. So that's the big thing. If there's one kind of message that I want to get across here, it's kind of like, where the music industry is sort of shifting in terms of independent music. So musicians who do it as a hobby, B as passive income, secondary income, primary income, but you're not flying around in private jets. You know what I mean? If you're in that category, then the industry is kind of shifting away from necessarily looking to be like, I'm going to directly monetize all my music in terms of, I really want to boost just straight out sales of my single. Those are absolutely still a thing. And that's where one of the things we're going to talk about today. But if there's one message that I kind of want to stress for everyone, is really that look at it as an opportunity to keep your fans engaged when we're talking about releasing and promoting singles, especially singles. And why they're so flexible and useful in that sense is because they don't have to be part of a larger album, right? It can just be like a part of an EP that you're releasing, or just a one-off single that you're going to throw out there between albums. Or maybe you haven't gotten to the point where you can release an album yet, or you're not interested in releasing full albums. You're just producing tracks and putting them out there whenever they're ready. Right. So that can be treated as a single, a one-off track that you're putting out there. So one of the things that's important with that is keeping people engaged. Okay. Um, Keeping your fans engaged. So these days, the big thing, we've all heard of algorithms, right? We're all kind of like slaves to the algorithms in terms of promotion, in terms of staying up to date and staying in touch with your fan base. So whether that be on all different socials, right? Whether that be through your website, people that might check out your website regularly for updates. It's important to keep a regular or semi-regular posting schedule to keep people coming back, clicking on your profile, which kind of boosts you up in the algorithms. If you become sort of like a dead profile that isn't posting or isn't posting regularly and nobody's clicking on visiting you, the algorithm's going to detect not so much traffic coming to you, and it's going to lower you on the priority list a little bit. And then we all know the downsides of that, right? Like it's kind of a problem now where if you post something, let's say on Instagram, you're not reaching all of the followers that you have on Instagram necessarily, because it all depends on their algorithms. And the goal of these platforms is not necessarily to put in front of you what people you're following are posting. The goal of these platforms is to keep you on the platform specifically. So whatever it thinks you're going to interact more with, whether that's specific, just a couple of things that you follow rather than everything, so on and so forth, right? Or just suggested content. So singles are useful in that way because it allows you to sort of regularly and periodically post something, have sort of like a big release that's going to get some interactions, maybe get some comments, get some shares, get people clicking on it, get people listening, get people redirecting back to your website. And it's going to keep you kind of fresh in the eyes of the algorithm, which is always ideal. So we have, again, lives, people come in and out, but please introduce yourself. If you're here watching right now, let me know your name in the chat. Let me know what kind of music you play. If you have a Bandzoogle website, post a link to your website. I'd love to check it out. Again, I love seeing what our members do with our sites. So post a link down in there. So if you've never seen our single feature before, in terms of how we add singles to our Bandzoogle websites, this is what it looks like. And we're going to take a closer look at this in a second here. But so it's presented in this way. So it looks very much like our album feature, if you've seen that, but there's one single track, right? So you don't have like an elongated track list after the main artwork at the top there with a whole bunch of tracks. There's just the one. So it's a lot more compact, but it looks the same. So all of our music players take this general format, the colors and the fonts of which are all customizable in your edit theme tab. But for the most part, this is what the format that it takes. So before we get into the actual how to promote your singles, I'm just going to turn off the screen share here for a second. I'm going to switch over to my Bandzoogle account here, or my test Bandzoogle account, and I'm going to show you how to add a single feature. And we'll poke around in an actual Bandzoogle account a little bit. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to post in the chat. These lives are meant to be kind of open discussions. So if it's a question related to singles, if it's a question related to anything else, even just a general music question, if you just feel like chatting and asking whatever it might be for recommendations like I'm asking for, feel free to leave a comment there. Okay, so here we go. All right, let's do a share screen. Here we go. Okay, cool. So this is what a Bandzoogle dashboard looks like, right? So when you log into your Bandzoogle account, this is what we call the dashboard. So it's kind of like your home screen. So once you're in there, you have this is my test account, so I don't have any site traffic. But if you did, you would see the graph with the different levels of visitors that you're getting on different days going back. I believe by default was it August 14th, 15th. So yeah, it goes back about a week. But you can go back, of course, as far as you want to. But when you first log in, this first little screen here, I'll go back about a week. And so what we want to do from here is we want to click on the Edit Content tab at the top. And so the Edit Content tab is where you go to add and remove content, right? So from here, you have all these different options on the left. You can add a new feature. There's a Pages button to view all the different pages you have created on your site. You can add a page, delete an existing page as you'd like, and there's a button to edit the header. If you want to switch to a different page, oh, sorry, I clicked on that by mistake. You can go down to all your existing pages here. So I want to edit my music store page. I'll click on it, go to music store. I gotta say, this band and listen to the Teskey Brothers. It's kind of like perfect, perfect background music for a YouTube live here. It's got me in the mood. It's just perfect. Okay, so right now on this page on my test account, I have an album set up already. So you'll see the difference here, right? I showed like a picture of what a single looks like before. So as you know, this is what the album looks like. It's a little bit more complex. Like I mentioned before, there's the track list of all the different tracks contained within the album listed below it there. You can click to stream them. You have the option of making them available for sale, free download, completely up to you. But now we want to add a single feature. So it's really straightforward. So anything that you want to do on your Bandzoogle website, anything that you want to add, it's with the add feature button. So when you click on add feature here, you're going to see a list of all the different things that you can add to a page of your site. So by default, it's going to be on the popular option. See that highlighted on the left there at the star, popular, and you'll see single there. Oh, from the Dominican Republic. I don't speak English, but I can understand. Amazing. Well, thank you for popping in and joining. I wish I spoke Spanish so I could translate for you, but unfortunately my Spanish is terrible. I've tried to learn a couple of times in my life, but I've traveled a little bit in Mexico. I love going down to Mexico, so I'm trying to teach myself Spanish, but didn't work out. I'm just English and French are the two I can do, which is fine. Thanks for the masterclass. Yeah, no worries. No, it's if you want to call it a masterclass, it's very flattering. Thank you. I should actually, I always forget to do this. I should introduce myself. My name's Joe. You've probably seen my face all over the YouTube channel here. If you're here, I'm assuming you're subscribed or you've watched one of our videos before. I'm the Learning and Development Coordinator at Bandzoogle. I've been here for almost 12 years, working for Bandzoogle, working with independent musicians like all of your fine selves. And so I have a little bit of experience in this stuff. And so I like to run these YouTube lives once a week just to hopefully, chat with fans. So if you are here, say hi, let me know your name in the chat. Most important, let me know the kind of music you play or what you like and post a link to your website so I can check it out. Okay, so here. So what I want to do is I want to add a single, but you have all these other options, right? So these are just like a sort of summarized version of the most popular features here, but you can switch to content, and then there's all the general content options like a picture, a photo gallery, a video, a button, a calendar, these kinds of things that you can add. But right away under popular, you'll see single right here. So I'll click that. And now when you add a feature, by the way, let me know if the music is too loud. I got it on the background. I'm just vibing over here. So if it's cool, then no problem. But if it gets to be too loud, just let me know in the chat. Got this noise reducing microphone, so it should do the trick. So what these things are called placement arrows. Okay, so what those do, you see the blue ones there. What the blue ones do is they're going to create a new section of content, whereas the white ones are going to create, is going to place it within an existing section of content. So what I'm going to do is I just want to, for the sake of just demonstrating here, I'll create a new section. So you click, and then it's going to place it. Okay. I already have one single created in my test account here. So when you click to add the single feature, it's going to ask you, do you want to add an existing single that you've already created and is saved on your website? If so, you can click use the single and it'll be there ready to go for you. or you can add a new one. So let's go through the process of adding a new one. So here you would click to add your track, or might be subscriber sale options. What this does is if you're using our fan subscriptions option, so what the fan subscriptions are, it's kind of like Patreon. We have this built in. So you can get subscribers to your website. You can create a page of your website that's behind a paywall. So people have to subscribe to pay you monthly and become a subscriber to you to view that exclusive content. And one thing you can do is you can set a special price for subscribers only. So it's an extra sort of incentive that you can mention on the paywall page, which is like, hey, one of the perks, if you sign up and pay $2 a month to become a member of my website, you get discounted prices on all my merch items and music, whatever it is that I'm selling on my website. So that's what subscriber pricing is. So you have the option, of course, turning that on or not. And if it's on, then you can select the tier. So you can create different payment tiers, just like a Patreon kind of thing. And you can select which tier will get the discount. And then, of course, here you add the names. So let's say it's called Little Umbrellas. Then you can come here and you can add some artwork. So let's find some good artwork here. This looks good. The year, so the release date of the single, say 2024. And then you can add your description. So the description is really, really useful for two reasons. One, it's an opportunity for you to let people know what the inspiration for the single is, give them a little bit of detail about it, maybe mention how long you've been working on it for, how long you've been plugging away on the single. But also, what's good about that is it's really good for what's called search engine optimization. So once that's on the page, so search engines, let's say like, Google, of course, being the biggest one, what they'll do, like how they determine what keywords they associate with certain pages of your site, they do this thing called crawling, which is like they look over all the text on every page of your website and they pull keywords from there. So when someone puts a search term, just types words into Google, that's where they get associated from. So this is good for search engine optimization. So if you want to, whatever keywords that you think you want to have associated with your website, with that particular single. So when people put a search into Google, they might find it. So, the genre, where you're located, anything like that, the type of music, the background, whatever it is that you think could be a good keyword for searches, you could put into the description there, which would be super helpful for that. Bonus files. So what this is any kind of additional files that you'd like to include with the download. So you can connect those there, and then it becomes in kind of like a zipped folder. So it would be the music file if they download it, and then whether it's sheet music, whether it's just additional photos, whatever you want to put in there. And you save, and that creates the single. It's really that easy. So that's creating a single on your website. So then we get into the promotion side of it. And so we're spiking up with viewers a little bit here, up and down, just like lives do. But again, please let me know your name, say hi. So I wanted this to be like a conversation, it's good. So you can ask questions. Don't be shy. Don't be shy to ask questions about anything to do with music, your Bandzoogle account, personal questions about me, whatever you think, you can post them there. So, okay, so let me get this started again, and let's start talking about promotion. Here we go. Okay. So when it comes to promoting your music, one thing I'm actually going to do is I'm going to post this in chat, okay? So before we get talking about smart links over here and what those are, let's talk about streaming and how streaming plays into promoting. So you see here, this is a screenshot showing off Spotify, right? So of course, Spotify is probably the most widespread popular form of streaming that's available these days. But how is this useful for promoting your single and getting that out there? Before we talk about that, I'm going to post a link for everybody in the chat over here. So keep an eye open for this here. And what this is, we're going to talk about a distribution service called DistroKid. Okay. So this link here gives you, if you use this and if you're interested, if this is something you are thinking about doing, distributing your music digitally, this will give you 50% off the first year. So you can use that link to sign up for a DistroKid account, and you can take advantage of that discount there. Okay. So what music distribution services do is they get your music listed for you on platforms like Spotify. on platforms like Apple Music. They get it listed on things like TikTok and Instagram for, as like if people are searching for background music to put onto their story, they can gets your music listed there as an option. So you can put certain search keywords and people can find your tracks there and add them. But the big ones, of course, are the big streaming platforms, right? So Apple Music, Spotify. So if you want to get your music listed on Spotify, you don't just create a Spotify account, go and upload the music. You need to go through a distributor. Um, so DistroKid, and we're affiliated with them, and they're one of the largest digital distributors that there is. So there you go. You have 50% off the first year if that's something that you're interested in doing at some point. It's not completely necessary, but it does help, right? It does help to have your music streaming wherever you possibly can have it streaming. Just gonna have some Bandzoogle mug here. Too much coffee today. Way too much coffee. So if you do get your music distributed, then you land, of course, on a platform like Spotify. What happens when you land on a platform like Spotify is you are now discoverable, right? So of course you can share links to your Spotify. You can encourage people to go to your Spotify and follow you there. But being searchable and being discoverable on a platform like Spotify is huge, because if people search for a specific genre, of music, and your music is tagged properly with the right genre, with whatever it is you think search keywords again will, get people finding your music, they'll be able to find you, and playlisters will be able to find you, which is great. So what happens when playlisters can find you is, there's playlisters are huge on Spotify. So if people are searching, let's say they want, ambient house music, and so they search for an ambient house music playlist. So there's people who curate these playlists to get follows. And so they're always looking for fresh stuff. So they're always scrounging Spotify looking for fresh stuff. So if you get picked up by popular playlisters, it's kind of like a snowball effect after that. And then you can start getting more traffic back to your Spotify account, and it can pick up. We're just going to address some questions here. Dr. Doug, love that name, Dr. Doug. I'm only interested in direct to consumer. So what would be the best avenue for promotion for me? Okay. Yeah. So don't worry about it. If you're not interested in sort of, I'm assuming by direct to consumer, you mean you don't want to be on a streaming platform. You don't want people to be able to access it that way. You want them to have to go directly to your website. Then the best way to promote that would be through your socials, which we'll get to in just a little bit, Dr. Doug, but don't worry about that. And also not just your socials, but keep an eye. Don't worry, we're going to get to that. I have my project on Bandzoogle and I really like it. I have a question. In the future, will you have some kind of promotion marketing service that we can pay for from Bandzoogle? That is a great question. There are no plans for that currently, but instead of a service, we do these kinds of things where we like to help people and educate people and talk them through things and give them tips and tricks for free through our YouTube channel, through our socials, through our blog. So while we don't have like a service that we charge for, we offer a lot of free advice through those mediums. So definitely keep an eye on the blog, especially we post there, I believe once a week or twice a week. Our socials as well. We're constantly posting advice for people there. So the good thing about something like Spotify is that you become discoverable at that point. Smart links. I'm sure everybody's seen sort of like a link in bio, something that's almost like a standard these days, right? So a good way to promote your single is to add it to your smart links page. So you can have, of course, links to all your different social platforms, but you can also have a link to our latest single, name of the single. And then from there, you can link to a page of your site where the single is streaming. And we just went over how to add that. Smart links, as we call them, or you might know them as Linktree. That's another company that makes a similar kind of thing. You can add directly through your Bandzoogle account using our Smart Links feature. So you can go, same thing I showed you before, edit content tab, add feature, and you can add a Smart Links feature to a standalone page, what we call a landing page, which we'll see in a little bit. And then you can link to it from your socials. So this is a Bandzoogle member, Supernova Music. Just an example to show how most people, let's say in their Instagram profiles, will have a link to their smart links or their link trees, right? So that is a great way to promote it, because that's kind of become the go-to of where people check out to see where they can find you and what you have available and what you have going on your link page. So definitely put a link to it on your smart links. That is the way to go. And landing pages are a great way to promote that too. So what landing pages are is that's just a standalone page of your website that has no menu. It just looks like this. And there's one thing on it. So one call to action, one thing that you're asking people to do. So you can create a landing page just by going like you create any other page in your website, edit content, tab, add a page, and you select landing page as the page type. It'll create a page just like this with no menu. You can just put a plain background image, a solid color background, and you can add a feature to it. And so just add a single to it. And then what you can do is you can run some promotions on your social media, and you can link back to this landing page that features just the single available for streaming. So this is Bandzoogle member Olivia Kay and the Parkers. So what they did was they, of course, post on socials, right? So for your existing followers, but they experimented with, and I'm never going to tell people to spend money on promotion. I don't think it's 100% necessary, but it could be a tool that's useful if you're willing. So through Meta, right, which handles Instagram and Facebook, you can do what are called sponsored ads, and you can put $5, $2, $10, more or less, whatever you want, and it tells you like however much you spend, it'll tell you the amount of people that it's going to push it out to. And then you can choose the demographics. So you can get as specific as people who have already visited my website before, or people that have visited my profile here before, or people that live in my area, people that follow other similar accounts. So maybe other musicians that play the same genre. And you can pay a couple of bucks and push out an ad and say, here, check out our new album. In the description, mention the genre or whatever it is to catch people's attention. They click, brings it back to the landing page, and they can check out and maybe buy your single there, or at the very least listen to it, right? And last but not least, and I cannot stress this enough, I've mentioned this in probably a couple of these lives up to now, but if I can give any independent musician now any advice in terms of getting discovered aside from playing live shows, it would be to get on TikTok. TikTok is no longer just, teenagers doing little dance trends. It's not just what it is anymore. It is the world's largest discovery platform. So what I mean by that, so many new musicians get discovered on TikTok now just by the nature of it, the nature of how the algorithms work, and the nature of how it pushes out videos to new random people. It's fantastic for this. And it's a fantastic way for people to discover new music. I discover new music on it all the time. And it's a fantastic way for people to get their music discovered. So going back to a Dr. Doug, you're wondering, like, if I want to just sell direct to consumer and I want to increase interest for people to come back and check out my website, well, you could create a TikTok profile. You could put a link in your description linking back to your link tree, your smart links page, or linking back to your website, or linking back to just a page where you have your single on there. And you can post little clips onto things like TikTok. A little clip can just be a snippet, a 15-second snippet of the song with a background picture, maybe the album artwork, a video of you maybe, or a 10-15-second video of you playing an acoustic version of a song, or singing an a cappella version of the song, or your band performing, whatever it might be. You can get really creative with it, but you can experiment with short form content on TikTok to garner interest in your music. People use it as a discovery platform to find new musicians. So if there's anything that I can recommend in terms of discovery, definitely check that out. Okay, we're coming to the end of our live here. That went by super fast. There's so much to talk about with this. I mean, I could go on. We do hour-long webinars about this, but as a quick sort of 30-minute live, I just want to introduce the concept, how to add a single to your page, get everybody sort of thinking about it a little bit. So as sort of like a summary, if you're not making use of singles yet, hey, my pleasure, Dr. Doug, no problem. If you're not making use of singles yet, definitely use them as a tool to engage with your fans. You can promote them. You can make a big deal out of them, post them on your socials, post them on things like Instagram Reels, TikTok, get it out there so new people can discover it. Make it obvious on your website. Put it front and center on your homepage, new single out now, add that single feature like I showed everybody, and really get excited about it and get people excited about it. And so it doesn't have to be a full album, right? Singles are just as useful sometimes in getting your fans engaged and getting results in terms of traffic to your socials and your website. All right, keep an eye on YouTube, everybody. Well, we post videos there every week. It's been a little bit of a gap now because I was on vacation for 2 weeks with the family, but now that we're back, we're going to be posting regularly with music industry tips and tricks, and also different tutorials if you're curious for Bandzoogle websites. And we'll be doing these lives every week, so please come hang out every Thursday at 3 p.m. Say hi. And yeah, please let me know, again, what music are you listening to these days? Always looking for recommendations, like the Teskey brothers here. They're so good. So good. Okay. Thank you, everybody who came out. Dr. Doug, Tor, Doughboy God. Love that name. And we'll see you all next time. Don't be shy if you have any questions about anything to do with Bandzoogle, anything to do with your music, anything to do with your website. You can click the help tab on your website, and there's a live chat bubble there. There's no wait times. You can jump right in, talk to a real live human being. We have no chat bots. It's all musicians in there, tech savvy musicians waiting to talk to you. So if you have any questions, go check them out there. And again, if you're curious about music distribution, I put a link in the chat. Get 50% off your first year of DistroKid. Get your music out there to all different streaming platforms, and get it out there for the people to listen to. All right, take care, everybody. Thanks for everybody who joined. Anybody who's watching the replay, we should normally get a couple hundred people. Hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to comment down below with any questions you have. I see all the comments after the fact too. So if you have questions, post them down there and I'll respond to you as soon as possible. Take care, everybody.